It has been 5 long months since our previous Legend of Slime tier list video, and with the addition of so many new slimes, you're definitely asking yourself which slimes are currently the best. Well, you came to the right place because we're going to cover that exact question, covering all the free-to-play and pay-to-win slimes available. And just for a channel update, congrats to Alohan Jinon for our latest giveaway win. And same drill as usual this week, just comment below to enter our $50 Google Play or Apple App Store gift card giveaway of your choosing. And be sure to be subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss out on your potential win. Now I'll be reviewing every slime currently available and putting them onto a tier list for your viewing pleasure. I'll also be showing the damage output of each slime, while also covering any other utility the slime may have. This will consist of knockbacks, tankiness, or damage boosts. The tier list will represent both the slime's overall stage boss damage capability and Slime Legion utility. To start off our testing, we dropped from Cocytus 2 stage 9-7 all the way to Cocytus 1 stage 10-1. Because this is where we're going to test our free-to-play slimes. The reason why we drop down stages is due to free-to-play slimes being extremely weak. For someone like me who is heavily pay-to-win, my focus is on companion damage, since in Legend of Slime, companion damage will be your main source of damage in the late game. But when it comes to free-to-play slimes, they scale off attack, not companion damage. So we had to drop down a ton of stages for our free-to-play slime damage to be properly reflected and not outshined by our companion damage sources. So starting off our initial run of tests, as you can see here, the stage boss's HP starts at 15.8 AA health, meaning the lower we get the stage boss's health, the stronger that slime is comparatively to the other slimes on our list. And if that slime has a slime skill that provides additional utility, that will be reflected later on our tier list as well. And just note that our tier list placements are all done subjectively by myself, but overall this will be a good guide to use for determining which slimes are best. And now I'll be showing our testing results and I'll explain our methodology. For our testing, we did our damage test once, because if you watch these two clips, my devices don't have any discrepancies in damage, leaving the stage boss at 3.07 AA HP each time we tested Aku, and I ran this test over 10 times just to be sure. We also took off all our skills and companions for our free-to-play slime tests, because the main focus is on the slime, since free-to-play slimes don't influence any other damage sources, so I want to test which free-to-play slime is best based on our raw performance. And then we will compare them to our pay-to-win slimes as well, because I'll show you in a moment just how irrelevant it is choosing slimes. We also did separate tests for ranged and melee boss battles, because certain slimes like Aku only activate their skills when enemies are up close, which we can see from our two charts. Aku was the worst performer against a ranged boss, where he fell into the middle of the pack when facing a melee stage boss. Also, I threw Cabalus onto our free-to-play list, because the majority of players will make at least one purchase to unlock him, and he doesn't outclass any other free-to-play slime, making him a welcome addition to our list. Now looking at our charts on the basis of overall raw strength, Astri and Farmer took the number 1 spots. However, Serpine was actually able to clear the stage boss, while these two could not. We will not include Serpine in this ranking because she is bugged, in the sense that she attacks a multitude of times more than any other slime. This is evident as she was able to clear the stage, but honestly all of the above tests are meaningless, and I wouldn't personally use them to determine which slime is best, because if you watch us turn on our skills, the stage enemies are blown into oblivion, making it apparent just how useless free-to-play slime skills are. There is one exception, however, that we will cover, so let's move on to our actual testing. For our main test, we are loaded up with our meta bird build, and we didn't have any toys equipped onto our slimes. That way our damage was not influenced by any toy synergies. Now I'll be showing you the results we had for our free-to-play slimes first using this new test, and we can see that there was a very clear trend. Each free-to-play slime essentially did the same damage, with only a 0.25% gap between them. This is because, as I mentioned before, free-to-play slime skills are worthless in the later stages of the game. Since their skills scale off attack and not companion damage, slimes will always perform the same with attack scaling, and we can see this with Serpine, since she now performs in line with every other slime, where her bonus attack speed provides no benefit. Now starting off our tier list with Aku, even though he performed just the same as our other slimes, he does fall into the D tier. This is just anecdotal, since I've been shown he performs strongly if you have a skill damage build to support his skill, but when it comes to slimes like Amber, Ornis, Cabalus, Newbie, and Santa, they all fall into our F tier. They have no redeemable qualities, and their performance is not special at all. But for Astri and Farmer, I do place them above the rest in our E tier, since we did see from our initial tests that they were the most consistent slimes. But again, free-to-play slime choices generally do not matter, as their skills scale off attack, where Legend of Slime is currently a companion damage focused game. But when it comes to Serpine, she does get a special spot at the top of our C tier, because most free-to-play players and players in general will have issues with HP and survivability. Serpine will allow you to survive longer due to her skill mechanics, allowing you to push yourself back and dodge an enemy attack, and you will find those additional attacks vital in progressing further through stages, as each hit definitely counts, especially if your battles only last a few seconds. Having a weaker slime is always going to be better if they end up extending the amount of time you're able to stay in battle, and she is one of our best choices for a frontline pick in Slime Legion, because she allows you to essentially survive indefinitely given the right team. Even though it does cost you some DPS from her dodge mechanic, she will definitely benefit you if you are struggling with survivability. Now moving past our free-to-play slimes, let's focus on our more important pay-to-win options. Kroby and Melissa both provide us with companion damage scaling on their slime skills, which we can see directly affected their final damage result. Although this still wasn't very different from our free-to-play options, since slime skills generally don't provide a heavy influence to our overall damage, even with toys giving us a 3 times damage multiplier in many instances. But the performance both Kroby and Melissa provided were good, at 1.05 HP remaining on the stage boss. Kroby does provide us more consistent damage than Melissa, but other than that, both these slimes provide no additional utility, so they get thrown into our B tier. Next up we have Diva, another slime that scales off attack and not companion damage, which is evident as her performance was the same as our free-to-play options. Her utility at this point is honestly garbage. She is no longer a decent tanky option for either staging or Slime Legion, and with nothing else going on for her, she falls into our E tier. Following Diva is Ostion, another attack scaling slime, but even though Ostion fails to output damage, the knockback is almost crucial for Slime Legion, reducing our slime's risk of dying, meaning he is almost always a staple choice for any Slime Legion team. Because of this, he falls into our C tier. If not for his additional utility, he would have joined Diva in the E tier. Next up we have Ghost, which is another slime that scales off companion damage. I actually will place Ghost ahead of Kroby and Melissa in the B tier, just due to the fact that Ghost provides an extreme boost to our damage in Slime Legion, and given the opportunity, you shouldn't be purchasing Kroby or Melissa ahead of our other pay-to-win options. But also you shouldn't keep watching if you haven't dropped a like on the video yet, since the positive feedback is always appreciated. Again, don't purchase Kroby or Melissa unless you've purchased these slimes. We'll review ahead of them. You really shouldn't be purchasing Kroby or Melissa ahead of any other slimes ranked in front of them, since Ghost is one of our top damage dealers in Slime Legion, as for some reason Ghost Slime skill provides an extreme boost to our overall damage, which I have personally experienced when I have forgotten to throw Ghost on our Slime Legion team. Next up we have Mech and Penguin. Now their damage performance wasn't the best, but they still find their way to the end of our C tier. This is because Mech does provide some utility as a tank, since during the transformation phase of his skill, Mech is invulnerable, allowing Mech to tank far more damage than other slimes. But in terms of damage, there are far better options out there, and although Penguin is surprisingly weak, even while having companion damage scaling, they have a knockback style stun from their slime skill activation, so that additional utility does save them from a lower spot on our tier list, as they do provide some potential utility in Slime Legion. When it comes to damage, however, Ignis is one of our better options. Just a simple transformation style slime skill that boosts our damage to stage bosses. Bunny provides us a very similar slime skill as well, and overall damage result too. Both these slimes can be grouped together, although Bunny gets a slight edge in damage, on top of providing us utility from the knockback their punches provide. They are both good overall choices. This places them in front of our B tier. As for Hero, however, he turned out not to be the hero we really needed. Hero's skill activation just takes far too long, placing him in the middle of the pack with his damage result. He does generate bonus damage to enemies, however, impacting our Slime Legion performance from the boost. It still doesn't make him a better choice than many of our other slimes, so I personally place him at the middle of our C tier, since he just doesn't have too much use right now, beyond another addition to our damage dealers in Slime Legion. Now as we go through our tier list, I'm sure you've noticed by now that we haven't had a single S or A tier slime. Well, Miner and Swallow are here to change that. They end up in our A tier respectively, Miner having our second best damage result, and Swallow would have had a similar result had the test not been standardized, with slight changes to our build, accommodating Swallow's slime skill which slightly scales off attack speed. Swallow would have done similar damage to Miner, and also Swallow is one of our better pay-to-win options for a tank in Slime Legion, because their slime skill provides invulnerability, while also allowing Swallow to deal more damage than other options like Mech. So Miner and Swallow are really our best damage dealers so far. This is until we look at Gent, our first and only S tier slime. Gent's slime skill is extremely weak until we take note of the skill's 2x damage multiplier. When we consider that companions are the main source of damage in Legend of Slime, as we've mentioned multiple times before, on top of Sparrow figurine scaling off companion damage and being another one of our main damage sources, nothing will ever beat the 2x multiplier Gent provides right now. This is because slime skills, as we've noted before, do not provide much damage in the grand scheme of things, so the 2x multiplier is absolutely vital to our gameplay. This is when considering our current meta build, which you can check out in our best build guide, which is linked in the comment and description box below. This way you're ensuring that you'll be choosing the best relics and treasures, so you don't miss out on any damage. You also have to take note that this isn't even considering that Gent can use any slime toy. This makes Gent an extremely versatile slime, as Gent would not benefit much from a skill damage boost, as their slime skill only does 30% of companion damage, allowing us to truly choose any slime toy that we have. Gent is also a vital choice in Slime Legion, as the 2x damage multiplier greatly helps speed up our battles, and Gent's slime skill provides invulnerability, allowing him to also tank damage. which shows just how many uses Gent does have. So this is our final tier list. Let me know in the comments what you think and whether or not you'd make any changes. And if you enjoy this video at all, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Legend of Slime videos just like this. And also check out our best build guide video if you haven't already. Enjoy!